What's up, guys? My name is Pat. I'm one of the worship residents here at the La Plata campus. I went to Southern Wesleyan University where I got a degree in music. The best way that I would describe myself would be a lot of fun. I like to be a lot of fun. Very interested in just being goofy, but also like having those moments of seriousness. Not very often, but when they do happen, they happen. Love to dance, love to have a party, love to do music stuff, love to eat spaghetti, love spaghetti. And have grown to be very fond of naps, love naps. My upbringing was, mom, dad, and two other siblings. We were very involved with church. My dad was a worship leader. My mom served in kids' church, and so we were there all the time, Monday through Sunday. It was a diverse church, so there was Caucasian, there were black people there were Hispanic people there. It was a nice little melting pot of people, and the culture was just very friendly. The culture was very inviting. It was nothing that was ever it was nothing that wasn't ever diverse, so I just kind of grew up in diversity. So what initially attracted me to God was the idea that there was someone who loved me but didn't know me. It would pay a price for me. And when I was young, I used to think God was like this big superhero, cooler than Batman, way cooler than Superman. And the early stages of my faith was really just like, God is just this invincible person. Like God is like, got a sword in one hand, got an axe in the other, wears a cape, saves the day, and looks cool. So that's kind of that's what initially attracted me to God. As I got older, obviously it was the in-depth relationship and just the, just the initial thought of there's someone who does care that much about me, but not in a superhero way, but just in a loving father-like way that just wants me and doesn't see me as just a number, but sees me as my own, like my own thing. What drew me to the Christian community? Well, I love music, and so what drew me into the Christian community was some of the music that was coming out that was really cool. Like this is when Hillsong was doing their little rock thing, and I was the drummer at first. I was like, yeah, I like it. And I don't know, it was really cool. It was honestly like the only community I really knew when I was younger because I was homeschooled. So I was like, okay, I just hung out with a bunch of Christian kids, and so you just kind of got thrown in a culture like that. And then the community, that what it was very family-like. It was very village-like. Everybody called each other's parents mom, dad. We all went to church together. We all went to each other's houses sometimes. So it's just community I was brought up in. So I don't know if it drew me in necessarily, if I was just already in it so much that I just couldn't see myself in a different community. I started believing in Christ when I was young. I fully understood what that meant when I was 15 and my parents got divorced and my world came apart. I wasn't going to church like that. If you had asked me if I was Christian, I would have said yes, but I didn't really have any grounds on it. And then me and my mom and brothers and sisters attended this church and in South Carolina called New Spring, and through there we were able to find healing, and I was able to really understand what God redeeming powers look like, how he was able to take a broken family and still make them whole, and see relationships reestablished, to see wounds healed, and to see my life, my parents' life, my siblings' lives changed. And so to me, that's when I fully understood what I was actually agreeing to when I gave my life to God, or when I rededicated myself to God. It wasn't just this little imaginary fluff of like, oh, it's God, but it was more like this is the kind of God I serve. Someone who can take a broken situation, turn something that sucked and was really bad, and turn it to good. my call to ministry. So when I first came, I used to think that I was called to be into worship, and that was solely what I thought it was. I didn't think there was anything else. Then Pastor Robert, during a staff devo, said something that really struck me and really stuck with me, and it's really impacted my view on calling. We're not called to do anything other than to love people to a higher degree. And so now that I've learned that and been able to wrestle with that and to sit with that, I understand that my calling is to love people to a higher degree and just use the gifts that I've been given in order to accomplish that. And right now, through what God has shown me, it's been through music, it's been through loving people, whether through my small group, whether it's through leading worship on a weekend. What does that look like in the next couple of years? I don't know. But I know that as long as the mission is still to love people to a higher degree, then that's how I would describe my calling. All right, so I love this story. I joined the AIR program because Pastor Mike and Tina came down to Southern Wesleyan, and they were looking for my roommate initially to get him to do this program, but he wanted to do real estate. So then he told them about me, and I was sitting right beside him, and it was just kind of like a, who are you? kind of moment. Like, I didn't know. I still didn't understand the whole Wesleyan thing, so like I didn't know the big deal of them. So I was like, oh, okay, this is Pastor Mike. He's a regular pastor. And so he comes and he tells me more about his church. I look it up and I'm like, oh wow, wow. We're talking with Miss Tina because we got to talk a lot of times when she over text, or even when she came to visit again, she came and just explained it and what it meant. And that's something that I was looking for. I knew I felt called into ministry, but I didn't want to go into it blindly and not be able to make mistakes and have those moments of trial and feel burnt out and feel like I just need to quit because I couldn't do it. But I wanted a safe place to grow and learn and be able to grow the gifts that I had, to learn more about the gifts that I didn't know, and then just to learn about things that I really had no idea came with this whole job. And so that's what initially drew me into it, was the fact that it was such a open place of learning and trying, and even if you failed, you weren't just tossed out. It was like, no, we're going to use this as a teaching moment. I feel like my purpose is to love God and love people. Love God, love people. And however God would have me do it, that's just what it is. Love God, love people.